Check 1, 2. Can everybody hear me? Do me a favor, type in the chat right now if you can hear me. All right. Excellent. Cool. We got a little bit of time. We're just going to hang tight for a bit, and then we will begin. Great to be here with you all. I have to stay on the screen for a bit. As a matter of fact, let me test my PowerPoint. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you. Let's see. So if I did this, good afternoon, Reverend Counts. How are you, Lady Bonnet? He's gonna say hi to everybody else and not say hi to me directly. What's up, Walt? What's going on with you? This is incredibly weird. All right, you all can see the PowerPoint, correct? All right, great. Excellent. Now, I know all of you have like a button that says, you want to come on screen with me. I might allow y'all, a few of y'all, to come on and talk to me directly. But for right now, don't hit that button. Just kind of stay where you're at. You're in the right place. This is kind of how this goes. You don't come on screen. This is webinar fashion. We'll talk a little bit about that in this session and get ready to go. All right, it's 2:45. Excellent. Glad you all can see and hear. Let me open up with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today, for this moment that you already knew was going to happen, that you have provided all of us to come together and given us the opportunity to connect virtually and be able to talk a little bit about how we do this across our beloved denomination, dear God. We ask that you please bless everybody that's a part of this session, the entire Christian Education Department, as we learn how to edify your people and to do this through this pandemic, dear God, with the tools that you've given us in order to still reach your people within inside our denomination and outside of our denomination. We love you for the opportunity to serve at this capacity and at this level and on today and for this specific time. And we thank you for everything that you've given us to be able to do this, the mind, the ability, and the insight to even want to do this, to begin to talk to your people on this level. Thank you for everything, dear Father. Thank you for the opportunity. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Cool. So let's begin. I wrote a few notes here. I'm going to be transparent about it because I could go off on tangents, and I probably will toward the end of this presentation go off on, tangents. But I needed something to like bring it home for me and for me to be able to just stay on topic and try to get through at least the beginning part before we start opening this up for questions from everybody. And as you're seeing this, write down your questions. We have Reverend Rick Lee, who's in the chat right now. He's going to be able to field those questions, and then he'll probably hop on screen with me maybe later on and start going through all the questions. And then we'll parse through this together, okay? All right, so let's get right into it. This is Zoom Church and Facebook Fellowship, okay? Tech tips for ministry and how we're doing this across Zoom and Facebook. Now, we've all been doing this virtual experience for close to 2 years now. The world shut down on us during the pandemic, and at the same exact moment, it opened us up to begin to utilize tools around the church universal in a blink of an eye. We have an amazing opportunity to connect with brothers and sisters all over the world, inside and outside of our denomination, and in a myriad of different platforms that we're going to speak about today that we can use in order to do that. Some of them you have to subscribe to, and some of them you are just able to just sign on and they're free. Okay. Some see the ones that we're going to go through, the ones that we're familiar with, and then you might hear some that you're not familiar with, and then we'll parse through as best we can some of them. Now, granted, listen, I'm, yes, chief communications officer and all that. I get it. I don't know everything about every single application. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay. I know a good dealing with each one of the applications, and I can navigate it. And I'm going to continue to say this the entire time. Google is your friend. YouTube University is your friend. Feel free at any point. If you don't know something, if I don't know the answer, if you come on later on with questions, Google it. Go to YouTube. That's what it's there for. Okay. You can do a lot with a Google search. I learned most of this stuff by doing Google searches, and I'm perfectly fine with saying that. I learned a lot of these things by talking it out with other people that are actually doing it, that are using these applications. So again, I'm just putting that preface out there. I don't know everything about every one of these applications we'll go through, but I can answer light questions later on toward the end about a few of them and tell you my experience with them, and then we can get through it together. And if you have expertise in any of them, feel free to drop that in the chat as a resource. That's what this is all about, being able to be a resource and network with each other across our denomination. So, okay, next slide here. All right, let me go back. So our virtual platforms, you got teleconferencing and video conferencing, right? Zoom is great, and that's the one that we're going to be really focusing on for most of our discussion here, because it kind of combines both of them. You can get on a phone call and be able to talk to and listen to the presentation and talk back when it's going on, or you can do video chat, which is kind of what we're doing right now, where I can talk, you can hear everything, and we've been doing that. But you have the option on Zoom, so it's super easy. It's ridiculously clear and seamless, and that's one of the main ones. Then you have WebEx, GoToMeeting, StreamYard, Microsoft Teams, Google Workspace, Fuse, Join.me, Streamlabs.obs, Restream, Vimeo, Livestream, Boxcast, vMix, Switchboard, and there's plenty more. Plenty more. Okay. Now, some of these do specific things, right? Like if we want to look at StreamYard, oh, my slides keep coming up here. I'm sorry. See if I can go back and get rid of that. Okay. So if you want to go through like and talk about StreamYard, so StreamYard is more presentation style, right? So while we on Zoom and we can have a meeting, because that's what it was originally created for, just to have a whole bunch of people in one room and just seamlessly talk to each other at the same time, and people can talk over top of each other. You really can't do that in StreamYard unless the host allows you to do that, right? So StreamYard, check it out, StreamYard.com, just Google it, okay? And you'll be able to go online and you can allow for up to, I believe, like 10 or 12 people in the waiting room, and you bring them on the screen so that it's presentation style for everybody that's watching, and that's geared toward pushing it out toward social media and toward any type of audience that you want through like other platforms and websites and things of that nature. You can use other ways to do RTMP codes and things of that nature to get it where you need it to go. But it's slightly different. So, you know, as where you can have hundreds and, you know, thousands of people that are doing this on Zoom and in webinar fashion, you have a limitless kind of audience when you're talking about, you know, pushing something out through StreamYard, because that's going on social media. So again, each one of these does something different. WebEx is similar to Zoom, GoToMeeting, same exact features. Microsoft Teams, geared more toward business, you know, it's kind of making this work, but then you can sit, you know, can get real aesthetic with it and make it look kind of nice and shiny. But again, video conferencing, teleconferencing, you can set up phone calls with most of those apps and be able to connect and allow people to hear and see you when need becomes. Now, we start talking about like live stream, that's pushing content out, similar to what I was talking about with StreamYard. You're starting in one location, whether it's pre-recorded video or whether it's any type of live video that's going on right then. You know, a lot of churches are using that. We use it at Marvin Amy Zion Church, where they have a live stream account. We set up the cameras, it pipes into the system, and then it goes straight to live stream. And then from live stream, we can do what they call simulcasting. Now, simulcasting is when you're saying, hey, I want it to go not only to this page, but I want it to go to that page, that page, that page, that page, and it goes to all of them at the same exact time. I know you're curious about that. If you have not done that before, we'll talk about how to do that. All right. So not to get bogged down, Boxcast is one of my go-to applications. Honestly, I kind of pipe everything through Boxcast. So I'll send a stream from Zoom or from StreamYard, and I'll send it to Boxcast. The reason why I want to do that is because Boxcast has this template. It's an embed code that I can make private and not let anybody see. So, you know, in the event that somebody's having a funeral and they say, hey, I don't want anybody to see this except the people that I want to see this, and a link that I want to give them, they can do that. I can give them a link, and that's all that you need to know. So, but I can also put that on a website, and a website can obviously be put out to the world, and you can tell people, direct people, hey, this is where we're going to be. Search Boxcast, search all of these applications. Again, I can parse through each one of them, but this workshop is called Zoom and Facebook, so we'll stick to those two. But yes, check them all out. I know there are questions coming in the chat, and we will go through those later on at the end. Okay, so don't think I'm ignoring the questions. We'll just get through those later on. We got to keep it moving. Okay, so social media platforms. I got a list here. Now I got this from a website called dreamgrow.com, and Facebook by far is leading as far as active users, right? So 2.74 billion active users, billion. YouTube is second with 2.291. And then you can see the list from that point on: WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and then I don't even know. I've never even heard of WeChat, but I'm assuming 1.2 billion people have heard of WeChat. TikTok, obviously we've all heard of that. That's pretty popular in the Americas, and all these other ones again that I've never heard of. We heard of Snapchat, obviously, and then Pinterest and Reddit and things of that nature. Now, the lowest application on here, right, out of the 15 I got here, is 430 million active users. You are going to want to be in the mix when we're talking about building with, and I'm going to say brand, okay, but what we're talking about is our ministries, right, at our churches, and we're able to say, hey, I want people to be able to see this seamlessly and on these applications. The applications have the viewers, they have the users. Now it's just about being on there and being relevant on there, and we'll talk about how we're going to do that, okay? So one of the reasons I let you see these numbers is, and this chart here on the side, is to let you know that it's not going anywhere. Facebook is booming, and what you might think is Facebook is booming in the United States of America, it's more booming overseas, like India and things of that nature. When you do these websites that are allowing you to boost your streams and things of that nature, it's fine to do all that, but just know where they're getting those numbers from. The Americas is more involved with like TikTok and Instagram and things like that, but Facebook is just getting known in like Africa and India and all these other places. So not that it's just getting known, but it's just getting finally, utilized properly with the new technologies that they might have at their discretion. So it's jumping out there. So they're grabbing those numbers from there. So keep that in mind. Not to say, we're the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, ain't what I'm doing in India, what I'm supposed to reach. We're supposed to reach the world, right? So the world is on here. So when you're thinking about your marketing, when you're thinking about, your demographic of maybe you might want to start thinking about, okay, my America, kind of demographic, and then my India demographic, and then my African demographic. And how do I cater to that? And how do I speak to what they need from us? It might be the same exact live that you're doing on a Sunday, but just in a different language. You might want to do sign language or something like that. I've seen that on Simon Temple and a couple other streams that are out there. Think outside the box and start to utilize tools that are not too difficult to get going with what you already have. And then realize that we're not to think so narrow-minded with everything that we want to do, to say, all right, it's just the United States of America, and I'm just preaching to the same audience. I mean, I love the Amy Zion Church, but we're throwing this on the Amy Zion Church's group page and Facebook page and stuff like that, and it's going in a circle. Like, we're all loving it and we're all engaging in it, but are we reaching the people that really need to know about Christ? The ones that have no idea what goes on in the church service, let alone Methodism, let alone anything like that? Are we speaking to them, or are we just assuming that, hey, I need to get this out to them so I can be seen in my already seen circle? Just food for thought. I'm posing the question that, maybe you might want to start thinking about what's going on out and beyond our denomination, and start to reach them and start to find out where they are. And then dropping that same live in that group and in that chat, or to those people. It's worth looking into. Okay, see, I told you I'd go off on tangents. All right, here we go. So let's go here. And oops, going back. Yeah, did that one already. All right, Zoom facts. All right, Zoom is widely used in higher education. I'm gonna fly through these real quick. Zoom has an array of tools to support virtual classrooms. I know me, I dealt with it all during the pandemic with my daughter and allowing her to use Zoom in order to connect virtually. So I'm very aware of how Zoom is used in the virtual classrooms and things of that nature. Zoom virtual classes need to be carefully planned preparation. Okay, if you're doing this in that kind of a setting, you need to prepare. And we're talking about, classes, but we do classes all the time, right? We're doing Bible study classes. We're doing small group ministries and things of that nature. You're doing a disservice to your congregation, to your church, and to God, to be quite frank, by just hopping on at the last minute and thinking everything's going to connect properly and no issues with my PowerPoint presentation is justified properly, so everything can look. You need to know preparation, or you think whatever happened last week is going to happen this week? I challenge that. I challenge that mentality. This is how we're connecting with people. If you were in front of people at a conference live and we weren't doing this virtual, then you would have gotten there a half hour early, maybe even earlier than that. You would have seen the room ahead of time. You would have made sure your projector's working properly. If you needed, audio and sound to come through in your presentation, you would have talked through all of that. But for us to just hop on at the last minute and just say boom and think it's already, that's risky. And I don't think we should be doing that. So take the extra step, get on a day early, do a rehearsal, things of that nature. And you'll be able to make it happen. Okay, Zoom integrates with common learning management systems. Yes, it definitely integrates well with things of that nature. Zoom can be used for webinars. We pretty much know that. Zoom can be accessed in many ways. Ding, 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 ding. Number 6, we're going to focus on that. Zoom has many uses beyond video meetings and webinars. All right, Zoom can be configured to protect student privacy, enhancing security, and for the app in the marketplace. All right, so I want to focus on 6 because this is the reason why this workshop was entitled Zoom, and Facebook, because Zoom is easily accessible. They made it so simple for you to go on, set up a meeting, get a link, send it out. It can't get any easier than that. And when you're thinking about doing your own thing, as far as how do I need to connect to my people and make sure that they can seamlessly connect, whether it be through video or through the telephone, this probably is your number one option. And a lot of us try to fight this option, but I wouldn't fight it. I would embrace it. I would probably, why go in another area when they're even talking about virtual conferences and virtual kind of meetings and things of that nature. They even say, yo, you want to set up a Zoom meeting? It's not a virtual meeting. That's the terminology for all type of meetings. Even if you're dealing with Teams or GoToMeeting or any other type of platform, they're kind of saying, hey, let's set up a Zoom. And then you might get a Teams invite. So the easily accessible nature of the whole thing is crucial. It's easily shareable at the same time. I know my slides on the side there. I'm sorry about that. It'll go away. They're easily shareable at the same time. Okay, so since they're so easily shareable, an invitation. I thought they were going to go away. What's going on here? I think I had to click up top. No. I don't know. Okay, it just went away. I don't know. It goes. Is I think when I'm moving my mouse over there, then it goes away, then it comes back. All right. So easily shareable invitation. Invitation can get generated pretty easily while you're inside the app, outside the app, and then easily email sent to the person. And that's what people need in this virtual season. They don't need to be clicking 4 and 5 links to get somewhere or looking for something, or it's got to be seamless. It's got to be in blue. It's got to be a link that they can click so they can get right on and kind of have the application kind of open up like miraculously on their phone or on their computer for them, and then take them right into the meeting with maybe a password if you want to set that up. That's the nature of it. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're trying to achieve. And they're easy to use even when it's inside. It's mute and it's turn your camera on and off. That's about it. Like you can kind of stay in that world and kind of have an experience. A lot of people still touching that mute button. I pray for y'all. If y'all know of the mute people and the unmute people, I don't know what it is. I guess they're dealing with their phone. But we're gonna pray for them that they don't touch the mute button. And you can of course disable that. Yes, I know that. I know all you're gonna say that. But yes, it's just that. So just get into the fold. Utilize it appropriately. Zoom might be again for your classrooms, for your small groups and things of that nature. It might not be for what you got going on for the entire church at all times, or it could be for that. Maybe you're saying, I've had a couple pastors come up to me and they're like, yo, we're going to stay on Zoom because it's intimate. We're not going to put it out on Facebook. We're not going to put it out to the world just yet. We just want to have collective kind of meetings and Bible studies and worship services with us until we're ready to go to that next level. And that's perfectly fine. So just understand that you're still able to have a meeting. You're able to get it out to the people that really need it, and you're able to keep everybody all inclusive, the elderly as well as the young. They're familiar with it now. We've been doing this long enough where we can kind of get that going. Okay. Now let's go to Facebook. Facebook facts. We went over the amount of active users already. Facebook reaches 59% of the world's social network. I just laugh at that when I say that because, they have a majority, right? So for some of you to say, oh, I'm not going on Facebook, I'm not going on, I challenge that so much. Like the world is out there on Facebook already. We've got to be able to meet them where they're at, show them what we're all about. So get on the application. And if you don't, then find people in your church or find your niece or your nephew or whoever it may be that likes to do this sort of stuff, and then give them the keys and then just monitor it and say, hey, I think it's about keeping everybody all inclusive and letting them know that we're out here. It's as important as having a website. Okay. You really can't look at it anymore and say, all right, Facebook is that, but I just want to have my website and I want to do this. Nah, you need to be relevant on a website, obviously. Yes, you need your storefront. People have to see it. You also need to be on Google. That's number one. But then if we're talking about social media site, you have to be on Facebook. Have to. So again, don't go through that. Don't rack your brain on that anymore. Just hop in. If you ain't a part of it, dive in. Get your pastors, get everybody on board. You must have a Facebook page, and a relevant one, an up-to-date one that is being populated with content that is relevant right now for your community. Don't have old stuff from last year's church, or the old pastor is up there, or the old phone number is up. Update all that stuff. That ain't nothing but a quick, type of chat. And if you can't do it, again, get somebody that can. It's not that difficult. You can find somebody. All right. Let's see what I got here. Facebook is the world's 3rd most visited website. Okay. I think Google, and then it might be YouTube. I think it might be next or something like that. Facebook, 2nd most downloaded app to TikTok. That's number one. I think that's in the States, okay? But I think, TikTok is rapidly being downloaded. So they could be where we're at with Facebook. And so even though I don't know, I think it's a lot more that you can do on Facebook than you can with TikTok. You gotta be extremely creative. And I think TikTok is like a fad sort of thing. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? 63% of the U.S. population over the age of 12 uses Facebook. All right, we always talking about, it's a certain demographic, and it's not the young kids that are on there. This is from Hootsuite, which is a reputable organization. They're talking about 63% of the U.S. population. That's a lot of people. Now, again, a lot of those people are over, India and all these other places, the United States of America. You might not get that. I wonder what that. Oh, that says U.S. population. So I'm sorry. Yeah, this is legit. This is we can't have that. This is 50-year-olds. No, I think everybody has a Facebook account, right? We all got one, but then on top of that, we got all these other apps and whatever. And we check in every once in a while with Facebook, but we there. So you have to hop on it. You've got to get on it. Okay. I have written down in my notes here that Facebook is the beginning, but it's not the end. You really you can't. You need to start there. You need to have that. Like I said, website, Google, and Facebook, and then keep it going to the other ventures. But if you're not starting with your foundation with those applications, then skipping those steps and going to something else that might be, experimental, so to speak, it might not work, but again, see what your church, see what your demographic is about, see your people and who you're trying to reach, and then find out where they are and what applications they're connected to. Okay. So again, I focused in on one of the points. It's reaching 59% of the world. Facebook is the majority. It's not an option for any growing church. It's got to happen. We went over that really quick. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with that, but please, no consideration there anymore. Go into it. Facebook is the beginning and not the end. I just went over that as well. All right. So here we go. Zoom. Preparation before a Zoom event is not an option. It's a rule. I have that written down. Okay. Put together the program, right? Put it on paper first, and then consult with your tech ministry in advance, and then translate that, because y'all are excellent at building these programs, building the curriculum, understanding how you want it to look if you were in that person's presence, but then bring that over to the tech ministry. I implore you to do that. Let them know ahead of time, not moments before you're going live, but give them the courtesy to say, yo, I'm thinking about this a month out right now, and I got these ideas flowing. Can I break this down to you? And then you tell me what you think the best way for us to convey this or translate this to the virtual space would be. And then allow for your tech ministry, i.e. anybody that is tech savvy, to be able to do that. And give them the freedom to do that. All right. In the past, it was, the leadership that would just make the program, have a few other people possibly look it over, and then go forth, because they only had to talk to the higher level leadership and then get that to the people, because all that was done on Sunday and it was behind closed doors. Now, there's a whole nother world of people that are involved here that need to be included from the beginning of the process. Give them that courtesy, because there's nothing worse than, and I know I got a lot of tech people to be coming in to say like, hey, I got at the last minute, I got thrown in this, and this is the best we could do. I hear that. That's not an excuse anymore. Let them in and go through it, so we could have that be more of a rule, that we're getting prepared for these events ahead of time. Rehearsal with the participants is crucial. Okay, don't think again you're gonna be able to just hop on. If you plan on starting on Zoom and then pumping this out to Facebook or any other social media sites, don't leave it for anything to go wrong. And that kind of couples with my next point, which is prepare for technical and physical challenges. It can happen, like just user issues, like somebody hits the mute button and they're talking away. I've done it before, just talking away, and you just haven't gone over with them, hey, this is how you unmute it. And yes, they've been on Zoom before. Yes, it could be slightly different just looking this day, but at least you said it ahead of time, right? And this is you as the leader of whatever the program is, to be able to say that to the tech ministry and to go through all these things, whether it be a day before or even a week before, to say, hey, these things could possibly happen, and this is what we need to be prepared for. Have a backup, right? I know Reverend Counts is on, and there are a bunch of other people that I've worked with in the past, but I'm keen on saying, all right, if this person's audio, video, anything goes down, where are we going from here? Right? What's the next part? What's the next play that's going to happen at what point? And then we literally say, all right, we're going to pastor, or we're going to this leader, or this person knows this person's script, so we're able to just keep going and keep flowing. There's nothing worse than a keynote presenter's power going out, and then we're all just waiting on there for an awkward 15 minutes in order for it to reconvene, and then some people are going to drop off at that time. But if you prepare for those things ahead of time, you won't miss a beat. All right, record and review your live productions with your tech ministry, and make adjustments for future events. So it's not only what's happening right then. Okay, you have the event, and then you go back and you look at what you did. I don't know that any of us are really doing that. I really don't. I mean, we love the fact that we're getting accolades for whatever we're doing in the virtual space, but for us to stop for a second and say, okay, same team, same group, can we have a recap? Can we literally look at the video and then fine tune those little areas that need to be fine tuned? I would implore you to do that. Really take some time. And it could be a few days later while it's fresh on everybody's brain still. It's not weeks later and stuff like that. But go back and then check it out and see if you can improve on anything. That's a great tip right there. All right, Facebook. Create a personal profile and a page. A group is optional. Okay, so reason I put this in there is because you cannot be a part of Facebook as far as having your church on there and you not be a part of Facebook. And that's not a literal thing. Like, you literally probably could, but why would you want to? I mean, the whole goal of Facebook is to have your friends, because Facebook respects people first, right? It's a social network, and it wants, me to connect with Reverend Rick Lee, right? It wants that connection on and on. But we have lives. Reverend Rick Lee has his life. I have my life. And then when he goes to the barbershop, he connects and clicks the like button on there and then leaves a comment on his barber's page. And then the barber shares it, or he shares it, and there's some tagging going on there. Then I get to know about his life, and I get to see what's going on there. And then I might like it, or I might even try that barber. That's how it's working. So we need to create the personal page first. I need Darin Kent to be on there. I need to get a bunch of friends. I need as many friends as possible. I got 5,000, and it's always fluctuating because some people, take me off, and then I get other ones and all this stuff. But that just happens when you trump tight, right? So 5,000, I think that's the limit right now. Then when that happens, now I make a page. Or you don't have to have 5,000. You can have 100, right? But then you make a page. And then with those 100 people, and you say, everybody, I want you to like my page. All right, go over here, and you invite them to the page. Invite friends, invite friends, invite friends. And you get them all, at least with the notification in their notifications list that, hey, you've been invited by somebody you trust. That's where it comes in. That's the power of making the page and doing this in order, is because Darin Kent has people that trust him, people that like him, people that want to know, things that he's using and what he's all about. So now, if he's recommending something and saying, hey, join this page, yes, I'll take that into consideration, and I might just do it. It's going to take 2 seconds. I like it. Now, even with that, notice that it's a page, right? So it's there to promote your organization, your church. However, it's not just stand alone, do whatever you do, but it needs to be like brought out to the people. So I put something on my page, African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church page. I need to share that whatever that post is, I need to tell the people in the group, the people on, tags or whatever it may be, to say, yo, this is something that you all need to be taking advantage of. And they need to see that a couple of times, to say, oh, wow, that I got it now. I should be looking out for that. Then more things start to happen. Whenever they go live, they get notifications and things of that nature. But if you don't endorse what you're all about, people are not going to trust it. It's going to go right to the wayside, and it'll be way down on their notifications as far as when that actually goes live or does anything. I have throw a party here. What I mean by that is basically when you make this page, when you make the page for your church, what's the incentive? And I have that down here, offer incentives for your page. I'm skipping a part right there. What's the incentive for them to come through, right? What makes somebody want to come through? You throw a party. You say, all right, we're going to have this event. We want everybody to come through and check out the Christmas cantata on such and such day. You know, I've been telling you about this page, but this is our first event, blah, blah, blah. Let the people know. Do a video, do a post, do a graphic, do anything to get their attention, and be consistent, and then be timely when that event is supposed to air, and allow it to air. And then people will be notified by it and be aware of it. They'll join the group, they'll join the event, and then they'll be able to look for further things in the future. Don't create an event without having the next event ready to go, right? Like when you're talking about, you know, again, I'm using Christmas cantata, you should be also talking about what's going to happen in the New Year's, because that needs to be at the end of your presentation to keep people knowing that there's something else. And I have as my next point, once you start, don't stop. It should be constant, your presence on Facebook, on social media in general. Okay, so and that's a preface to everything I'm saying here. It just translates across the board. Twitter is ruthless with this. Like if you take a break on Twitter and people don't have that as your consistent basis, then you're pretty much done. Like it's going to take you a while to get your reputation back up. But if you're consistently doing, let's say, 2 posts a week or something like that, people, they know, they expect 2 posts from you. That's it. If you're doing it every day, don't drop off that every day. I'm talking about even if you get a new job and you have an everyday thing going on, you better hire somebody else to manage that everyday thing, because they're going to be expecting that every day. And the minute you go 3 and 4 days without anything, it's going to be like, oh, I'm on to the next thing. That's what we're talking about even with Facebook. Find out what your consistency is. Everybody's different. Yeah, we're all doing Sunday service, but think about that. We're all doing Sunday service at the same time for the most part, right? It's in the morning on Sunday. Maybe you want to do something on a Thursday, on a Friday, on a whatever day, just to get off of that day and to still have a service. Not to say you wouldn't still do it on Sunday, but there's so much competition at that time. And you're not just competing with the Amy's on church, you compete with every church. That's why Relentless and Elevation and all, they're doing all these services at night, you know, Jake's and everything like that. They're doing everything to get off of that day so they can get a captivated audience, all right? So that you can be a part of it. Figure that out. Talk with your tech team, your tech ministry, and be able to sit down and say, hey, what do we want to be consistent with? How many posts do we want to have every week? How many meditations do we want to give out to the people every single week? How many live videos do we want to do every week? How many, worship services do we want to do every week? How many Bibles? Whatever it may be, figure that out and stick to it. Once you start, do not stop. If you stop, then it's going to be a whole rebranding of your image moving forward. And the only way that you can kind of stop is if you're transparent with the people as to what is going on. Hey, pastor is experiencing some illness right now in his family. Let's all pray for him. And we'll be taking a hiatus from social media until such and such date. They deserve that, right? You wanted them so badly to become a part of your Facebook page and your social media presence, but then you're not going to tell them when something's going wrong. So give them that appreciation, give them that heads up. That's all. And it doesn't have to be a consistent thing. You can message people that are, intimate to the close family. But if you're really going outside the walls, you have to let people know what's going on so that they can grow with you and be a part of the family that you're trying to cultivate online. We want them to be a part of your virtual congregation. Then make them a part of your virtual congregation. Speak to them, message them, like their comments. Like if they're commenting, I'm going off on tangents though, but if they're commenting underneath your post, go back and like each one of them. As the pastor of the church, as the Christian education leader in the church, if you're having a Christian education service, then you just looking at everything and you spectating with everybody else. I think we should go the next step. And again, it doesn't have to be you. but you need to delegate that responsibility to say, hey, we're going to go the extra mile. We're going to have, somebody commenting. We're going to have somebody liking. We're going to have somebody reaching out to somebody if they want to give their life to Christ, directly messaging them, things of that nature. That goes light. They'll never forget stuff like that because that doesn't happen on every other page. So how do you separate yourself? And then, of course, they got sharing the good news. I mean, we have great stuff. I've talked about this my entire ministry. The Amy Zion Church has some of the most fantastic ministry. We are not sharing it with the people correctly. And before the pandemic, it was like, hey, we're sharing it. I got 700 people in my church. Everybody sees it. Now, churches are, they were empty. They're starting to come back now. But how do you get that? How do you translate that to get that out to the people in a proper fashion? What do you do? What are you trying to get? What is your church about? Find that out. Find your purpose. And everybody has something that is unique to their ministry, right? Some churches are about their children's ministry. Some churches are about their small groups ministry. Some churches are, highlighting the pastor, and that's really the focal point. Or the music ministry is the focal point. Whatever it is, don't hide and try to beat around the bush when it comes to what it is that you're really about. You can grow those other ministries, but really embrace what you have that's working, and then share that to the people. If it's your children's ministry, I mean, and maybe they're not a great example because you have to, certain clauses. You got to make sure that the people's images are all good and licensed and everybody is good as far as the parents are concerned. But after I said all that, right, you got permission to use these kids and they're dynamic. There's a dynamic mind ministry, right? You better use that thing. You better shoot that video out of all the videos properly. The sound better be spot on. It better not get flagged as far as having licenses and things of that nature, copyright issues. You better make sure all of that is tight. Okay. And then you put that out there on a consistent basis so that people can actually see that. Man, time is flying. Okay. I got questions here. I wanted to do one thing before questions, right? And that was just literally hopping in these pages. Okay. They put an announcement up. Oh, I wasn't even looking. I know you guys have been talking. And let's see if I go. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, so I got to stop sharing for a second. Okay, cool. And then I need to start sharing again. I hope this is helping somebody, and we're able to, work through this and really grow. I know I can be kind of abrasive in how I'm saying it. This is with love. It's just the fact that I've seen this so long, and I know that we want to get to a certain level, but we consistently have these meetings and these type of sessions where we're going over this stuff. And I know you guys know it, but it's like applying this stuff. It's like doing it. It's going that extra mile and actually saying, okay, he's told me this. I know this. Now we got to actually implement these things. All right. Let's share this. So this is the back end of one of my accounts. Now, I have a few Facebook accounts. This is me. All right. And, just friends and all that good stuff. Right. Cool. This one, I only have 54 friends. Right. So what I was talking about as far as making your page and then sharing and doing all these things, right, is go over here to your right. I'm sorry. Go over to the Facebook symbol. And then you have groups here and you have pages. Okay. I suggest you probably want to do both. Okay. So if you make a page, again, that is your church, Marvin Amy Zion Church. Again, that's my church. So that's why I'm saying that. Marvin Amy Zion Church. And I'm making this so that all my friends can see it. So you go in pages here. These are some of the pages that I'm a part of. On the back end, I hit, my page. And I go here and, this is all my stuff and things of that nature. But once you create the page, and let me go one step back so you can see, this is create new page right here, okay? Create new page. And you put all your pages information in here and you create it and you make it so somebody will want to, come and see what it's about. Once you get it up and running, then your key thing is going to be to go to these like three little dots right here. And then you see invite friends, and then you know, like I said, I only have like 50 some friends on here, but I can invite all my friends here. Now, if I had 5,000 friends, you best be sure I would invite every last one of them to be a part of the event. Now, when you invite them to your page, you better have a party going on because it's going to be click, look at it for 2 seconds, out of sight, out of mind, not even a thought, not even really dealing with it anymore. So have something on the page that you can then take them to that next level. Have them commit to something. Have them want to be a part of whatever that next thing is going to be. Create an ad. Have the ad linked to your next level of engagement, which will be on your website and things of that nature. You have to do this if you're trying to really reach your people. You got to be specific about what it is that's coming up next. This is, old stuff because I've been dealing with the church so much, but yeah, this is what it's about. So that's creating a page, right? I wanted to let me see here. Well, all right. So then groups. Now, a group is different from a page. A group is everybody inside the group being able to share just whatever it is that's specific to the rules of the group that you can kind of make yourself if you're the admin of the group, and you can say, hey, this is what we want this group to be all about. And then when somebody is joining your group, again, Facebook respects the relationship, the conversation, the people that are talking, the likes, the loves, the comments, the shares. That's what Facebook is looking for. So they're going to let that pop in somebody's alerts and news feeds more than what they would a page, because a page is just pushing the content out to somebody. And then, yeah, the more traction it gets underneath, then it starts to gain some notoriety. But when a group, if I throw a picture up and then people from all over inside that group are commenting, then that'll show up on my feed a little bit quicker. Because again, they want that interaction. Think how you engage people. Think how you get the share button. This is the most powerful button in, let me see if I can just find a post real quick. I'm going to pick anything. This button right here is the most powerful button in all of social media. Share, share, share. How do I get my team, have my ministry, my congregation, everybody to share? You should be explicitly telling your ministry, once this is posted, share this to your page. Because if they share it, then that means it's now taken from the group atmosphere and the page atmosphere and brought into now the whole circle of how we do things in social media, which is the social part of it. Now Darin Kent has taken this thing from the African Methodist Episcopal Zion page and put it on his page. Whoa, that's going to pop up on my newsfeed super quick. That's going to pop right up. What is he talking about? What is it? This is live? Oh, okay. And then it'll be something where they can look, they can view, and they can comment and do things of that nature. But if you can master that, your goal, you can do pretty much anything on social media. Getting them to engage and share means that they trust your brand so much. They love the comments, the content so much that they have embraced it to say, this right here, everybody in my circle needs to see this. All of my following need to see this. Think when you think about posting something and doing something, is it at the right quality? Is it at the right, does it have the right verbiage? Does it portray the gospel the way that you want it to be, in order for somebody to look at this and say, wow, I love this so much that I want to tell everybody else that doesn't even go to this church, it's not even in my denomination. My boss, who's my friend on Facebook, that's not a Zionite at all, should see this. And that, if you can get that, I guarantee your page is going to go leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. So think that through when you're making your page and when you're doing your groups, okay? So now let's oh man, time is flying. Let me do one more thing, and that was Zoom, and then we'll take a few questions, and then that'll be it. Let's see, Bob, and then Okay. I just wanted to go over a few things with Zoom, and I'm already inside, the back end of my Zoom. Now, this is me literally going to the website. This is not the application that's on your computer. All right. So you can download an app and it can stay natively on your computer and on your phone. But this is me going onto zoom.com US or whatever it may be, zoom.us, and then being able to log on it, right? And once I log in, I kind of get to this world, right? And it has all of my personal information here, and then it has my admin information right here. Now, excuse me, this is important because when I first started using Zoom, I was just thinking like it was all kind of the same, but there are settings for your personal that are a bit different from the settings from the admin. So I was bringing on people in groups and other members and stuff like that and telling them to collaborate with me. And I'm thinking that those settings that I put in my personal apply for everything that I'm doing in Zoom, but that's not so. Account kind of trumps everything and takes over the whole entire Zoom application. So when you go into your account, I think one of the first things, other than paying, should be to figure out your account settings, right? When you go into your account settings, then you can go through all of these applications. I can go through each one of them and give you the reasons as to why, but I'm going to fly through most of these and go to some of the specific ones that I think you need to be mindful of. Schedule a meeting, host video, and participants video. You want those to be either on or off. I like them to be off, and for them to actually turn it on. I think sometimes people get caught off guard that they're on. So this will automatically make sure that it's off first and that they have to make the conscious decision to do that. You can add watermarks to your stream if you get so savvy as to do that. Let's see here. Your chat feature, whether you want to leave that open for everybody or if you want the host and the co-host to do that. Private chat feature. You want to auto save chats. So I think it's a good practice to be able to do that as well. Now, co-hosts. It's weird. I don't have this checked because I just kind of opened up this account, but you need to have this enabled, right? People, you can make other hosts that help you out during your production. So allowing that feature, that option to be enabled allows you to then say, hey, I want all these people to be co-hosts, and then you can have, this is how you build your team virtually. You say, hey, we're coming on a rehearsal. We're going to delegate responsibilities. Somebody's going to be in charge of muting. Somebody's going to be in charge of making sure that the screen sharing is happening. Somebody's going to be in charge of just monitoring all the videos and being able to kick somebody out immediately if they're doing anything inappropriate. All those things need to be thought through. And this is how you do that. You do that through co-hosting. Let's see here. Screen sharing. Right here, I typically have this on host, but I think for one part, I just put it up there. Now, all participants allowed to screen share is dangerous because in the middle of a presentation, somebody could just immediately just throw something on the screen that's just not right. And then you have to scramble to try to get it down if you're not paying attention. So I like host only, and then I like to give permission inside the application to say, oh yeah, you can screen share. And then one of the last things I wanted to show you was that whole live streaming function. Here it is. Allow live streaming of webinars, right? So from Zoom, you can live stream to anywhere. And the reason I say anywhere is because you have this custom live streaming service. And this is where Boxcast comes in, right? So yeah, I got Facebook locked up, no problem. I got Workplace by Facebook, really never even used that, but I'm sure I could figure that out with a Google search. And then YouTube, same as that thing. I've used that a couple of times, no problem. But that kind of says we're going to one place, right? But this is where I said Boxcast comes in. Now you can tell this with this custom live streaming service. You can say, hey, I'm using that, and I'm taking what they call an RTMP code, and then I'm putting that inside Boxcast, and then Boxcast like streams it and simulcasts it to wherever you want it to go. All you gotta do is link up your accounts. So you say, I want to go to this Facebook page, that Facebook page, this YouTube page, this website, all of those things. You can just basically limitless. They might have plans where you got to do it, but you can add them all. And then when you go live on Zoom and you hit the start, it's going to reflect on Boxcast. It will be delayed, so don't get scared. You'll have a 10-second 15-second delay, and then it'll start to reflect on Boxcast, and then it'll show to all of those destinations that you wanted it to go to. So that's very powerful right there, what I just showed you as far as that live stream. If you're not using that, custom live streaming checked, go on the actual application, click the 3 little dots in the corner. Again, you can learn all this on YouTube with a YouTube search. Click the 3 little dots in the corner. That takes you to your application. It'll show all of them. It'll show everyone you have checked: Facebook, YouTube, Workplace, and then live stream services. You click on live stream. It's then going to open up a web browser. You put in the RTMP code, and then you connect that Boxcast to that Facebook. They're linked now. So whenever you go live and you have to hit go live, it'll automatically go live to Boxcast, and then Boxcast will then take it to wherever you said you wanted it to go. So again, tips, tricks, things of that nature. That's all that was really about. We got 7 minutes. That went so fast. But I want to now open up for questions. Rick, you want to come on with me? I know you've been looking at all these questions and kind of fielding them for me. Do I need to bring you on? Oh, you gave me moderation privilege. Oh, how you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, brother.
Very good. God bless you. God bless you. This has been a powerful lesson. So we appreciate your expertise and your encouragement to help us get our technology ministries together. But we just had 2 questions in the chat, and we had so many technologically astute folks in there. There was some great back and forth going on. But one of the questions came from Diane Chappelle, and she wanted to know, what do you mean when you say you're pushing it out to social media?
Oh, yeah. That's simulcasting. So the simulcasting is being able to say, all right, I'm taking this content, whatever it may be, video, podcasting, things of that nature, and then I'm linking these social media accounts that you have to have set up. So you need whatever it may be, Facebook account with the multiple pages and things of that nature, all at your disposal. And then being able to say, hey, I want to, and I love to show you. I want to be able to put it out on in these areas. Let me see. Can I bring this up real quick? Boxcast, log in, and log in. Make this real clear. And so, all right, let me share my screen one more time here. Share. All right, cool. So this is the back end of my Boxcast, right? And this is what I was talking to you about. Like I have this, we have this event for New Year's that's coming up, the conference call prayer. And I've already set up, you see over here on the right-hand side, these are my destinations that I want everything to go to. So if I click on this, and if I were to hit this button right now, everybody that's a part of this page, which is, I believe, the Amy Zion Church page, would get a notification saying they've scheduled an event to go live, and you would see that real time. Same thing with these 2. It's kind of generic the way it looks, but this is the YouTube page for the Star of Zion. And I think that's the Facebook page for the Star of Zion as well. So that's how it all really gets done. Now you see what I have here? I have it coming from the source. If you can see on the right-hand side, it says StreamYard, right? So I've already linked that up in the back end so that when this event, when StreamYard, goes live, it's going to come right into here. And I don't even have to be on Boxcast. It's doing it automatically. And then going back to the original question, it pushes it out to all these destinations. This little light right here, this little circle, the grayed out, you can barely see it. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get closer. Okay. Oh man, I can't get close. All right, there we go. This little circle right here, that is going to turn green. And so will this one. When this one is linked up, it's going to turn green. And then sooner or later, all the destinations will be green right behind it. So that's how you push it out on Facebook. And then there's a whole bunch of other features. Again, we can talk offline. I only got a few more minutes. What's the next question, Rick?
Yeah, and a few of these go together. So Pamela Perkins is getting on social media. How do you get around copyright laws, rules, etc.? And then Jacqueline Anthony's question is she's not familiar with CCLI licenses. So please explain the basics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even an aficionado in that as well. But basically, the premise is basically you're buying the copywritten material ahead of time so that the person can get their money, their rights. They have some agreement with those people that are giving out the CCLI license, and then you can use that actual video or song in your production and allow for everything to run smoothly without being flagged by Facebook and YouTube. Now, okay, so how many CCLI licenses do I have? None. What I do is I just straight go and I do a Google search or a YouTube search, and I say, give me non-copyrighted material for whatever the occasion may be. And once I find that, I legit make sure that it's not copyrighted and it's fair game, fair use. I download it, I use it, and I put it in my productions. I don't even want to deal with that whole thing. Now, that's not to say you don't want to go the extra mile and research CCLI licenses to make sure that you can, if you have a specific song that must be used in this presentation because they're doing a dramatization and it can't stray away from this Kirk Franklin song, He's Not Dead. Yes, then go get that license. I guarantee Kirk Franklin's going to get like 5 cents on whatever time, how much you're using on that. But that's how that goes. So you have to purchase it ahead of time. You get a catalog of things to use, and then you're able to bring that into your presentation and use it seamlessly. Now, again, even the application of the whole thing and making sure that Facebook knows that you have that license. I guess there's something on the CCLI license website that says, hey, he has the right to now do this, or they have the right to do this. But again, we Google search, find it, or just stray away from it. This will only happen on Facebook, though. YouTube is not going to flag you. YouTube is going to say, oh, using Kirk Franklin? All right, we're just going to put a little notification up here to let people know that this is a Kirk Franklin song, and it's going to hyperlink back to one of his original videos, so he gets credit for it. They ain't worried about none of that stuff. Stick to YouTube if you feel like that's the place for you to be. But when you're dealing with Facebook, yeah, that you will get flagged. I've been flagged plenty of times, and that's kind of how it goes. All right, I think 3:45, and I appreciate all of you. Yeah, that was amazing. I feel like I was talking to myself. I'm glad you're on, Rick, and thank you all for the presentation. I appreciate you. God bless y'all. Miss Calhoun, how you doing? Yes, you should have a group. The church have a group page too? Yes, you should have a group. Absolutely. Have a group and have a what's the name? A church page. Do both. Any other questions? I can answer them real quick. I hang around a little longer.